I'm the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So, this rogal dorn has definitely been making, it's been making a name for itself, I guess, amongst my various groupings. So, I'm definitely going to put it through the gauntlet because it is this big, monstrous T9 beast. The factions could have a little bit bigger teams to put into the gauntlet, and the ones that could enlarge their teams definitely did. So normally for the gauntlet, I put a big heavy supporter, Titanic or something, down a 4-foot stretch of city street, and it gets ambushed by a team from a faction consisting of 2 heavy supports and 2 troops. And if it makes it, it wins, and if it dies, then they win. And yeah, I fully anticipate the rogal dorn to make it down the street every time. I got the most teams I've ever had before. We got 6 groups trying to kill this thing. The Necrons might do it, but I just don't know. Here we have today's street. It's 4 feet from the edge of the table to the edge of that building, that far corner edge. Plenty of areas, 3rd floor mainly, to stand for things, a couple areas on the ground. Again, I personally think it's going to walk every time, so I don't know. It'll be a good experiment, though. Alright, so we have 6 groups that have decided to make the attempt today. Starting with the orcs, we have 2 10-man groups of boys, one with a rocket launcher and one with a big shooter. A Death Dread with twin Scorches and twin Dreadclaws. I don't know why I mentioned the Dreadclaws. There's never a melee in this, it's just shooting. And then a mech gun with a bubble chucker. I don't anticipate these guys being able to do much of anything, to be honest. It's T9, so... I mean, I always give the orcs the shot. I don't think they've ever actually killed anything, but I always give them the try. So next we have the AdMech. We have a group of 10 Rangers, 3 Cataphren Breachers, and then a single Castle and Robot for 2. I'd like to say these guys have a chance. I mean, they probably have a better chance than the orcs do anyway. Alright, so the Night Lords, we got 2 groups of 5 Legionnaires, one with an autocannon and one with a plasma gun. The aspiring champions both have plasma pistols, so there might be some good things there, maybe. We got a group of 5 Havocs, 2 of las cannons, a Reaper chain cannon, and a heavy bolter. He's got a flamer, the aspiring champion. And then 2 obliterators. These guys might have a chance. Those obliterators, and they're a lot better in 9th than they were in 8th, I think. So they'll probably do pretty well. Maybe. Alright, so the Necrons have also brought in more than normal. 2 groups of 10 of the new Necron warriors with the Gauze Reaper. 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers with Gauze Destructors, and then a Canoptic Doom Stalker. These guys normally manage to destroy the target in most gauntlets. I don't know about this one though. That rogal dorn is a beast. A beast, man. Honestly, if that's what a rogal dorn can do, based on what I've seen in the games I've played with it, I shudder to think what a Baneblade or any of those things can do, because Jesus, it just fucks shit up. Alright, so the Imperial Guard are definitely going to give it a go. 2 groups of 10 Cadian shock troops. Each one has a grenade launcher, a flamer, and a guy with a Vox thing. I know that it looks like there's a guy in there with a plasma gun, but I assure you, okay, it is a plasma gun. We're pretending it's a las gun. Have a field ordnance battery with a las cannon and a Malleus rocket launcher. And then a heavy support squad with a mortar, an autocannon, and a las cannon. I mean, these guys might have a chance, maybe. Those heavy ordnance batteries have done some decent work in games, but again, this is a big-ass tank. We'll see. Okay, so I have an 8th edition Craft World Codex and Battlescribe on my phone, so I have both an 8th and a 9th list for Eldar. And on the 8th list, Wraith Lords are still heavy support. Whereas in 9th edition, they put them in the elites. I've got an 8th Craft World, so we'll use that. So, you got 2 5-man groups of Dire Avengers that are probably not going to do much of anything. The Painted Wraith Lord has a Bright Lance and the Eldarian Missile Launcher. The unpainted one has a Shuriken Cannon and the Star Cannon, I think. Not the heavy 2d6 one. I'll have to double check it in a second. I'll mention it when we get to the Eldar. Not entirely sure in what order these guys are going to go yet. Probably do it randomly with a d6. But yeah, there's going to be the 6 teams that try and take out the rogal dorn. I wish all of them luck, like large amounts of it. I hope all of them win. I hope the orcs at least wound it. I think the Necrons might be able to kill it. The Night Lords, maybe. I don't know about anybody else. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting gauntlet, that's for sure. So after some creative role-playing, the AdMech have decided they're going to go first. So we've got one Castellan robot on the 3rd floor of that building. Another Castellan robot opposite him, with the breachers on the ground in between the 2 buildings. And then the Rangers down here on the 3rd floor of this last building, kind of like in a Hail Mary, if they have to kind of thing. Okay, so the way this works, the Gauntlet E gets to do movement, and once they've been fired upon, they can also do shooting if they're in range. But yeah, just movement and shooting, going to the end of the street if they make it. The Gauntleters can shoot. If the Gauntlet E makes it past their position, if they want to move into the street to take up positions to shoot again, they can do that. But other than that, they just shoot. Don't generally have people go in the street. This guy has enough guns that he could probably wipe these guys out. I mean, I anticipate some wiping. Again, I guess we'll see how it goes. We'll start with the rogal dorn making the first move down the street. Okay, so the rogal dorn just advanced forward. Made it about a foot. And that'll make it the AdMech turn. A lot of people are in range right now, so I'll let the shooting experience begin. I'm always happy to be pleasantly surprised. So the Castellan robots between them did a point of damage. But because it's a vehicle, those Cataphrone breachers and their heavy arc rifles managed to do 8 damage to this guy. Between them all, they did 9, so he's down to 8. Puts him in the second bracket, which is pretty impressive for our first round of shooting. It is his turn now, so he does have a whole lot of guns. So we'll see what he can do. Alright, so the middle bracket moved as far as he could on that. Literally dumped every weapon he had into the Cataphrone breachers and only managed to kill 2 of them. And it was only at the last with the twin battle cannon. Literally missed with everything else. Does really good from a distance. Getting ass kicked by AdMech from up close. Interesting. Okay, so that'll make it the AdMech turn for shooting. Well, unfortunately, the AdMech were unable to duplicate their first round success. It didn't do any damage at all this time, so he'll get another chance to continue on down the street. We'll see what he does for his turn. I decides to move and shoot badly. Alright, so he's doing a little bit better this time. Yeah, went forward his distance. Managed to actually kill off the last of the Cataphrone breachers. Pretty much took everything he had, but the twin battle cannon took out the castle and robot that was up here on this third floor. Alright, maybe 2 more turns and he'll make it there, assuming these guys don't kill him. But it is their turn to see if they can, so... Shooting for the AdMech. So, unfortunately, neither the castle and robots really at this point, nor these rangers were able to do any damage at all. They weren't even able to hit it. That was kind of sad. So, alright, we'll go back to letting the rogal dorn move forward again and probably killing off more of these guys. I'm looking forward to it. Alright, so the rogal dorn rolled forward another 8 inches, dumped everything it had. It managed to kill off 3 of the rangers up here with the castigator gatling cannon, and missed with literally everything else. So that'll give the AdMech probably one more, probably this last chance to try and do anything to this guy. So the AdMech failed completely to do anything also. So it went back to the rogal dorn, which actually managed to advance the last 11 inches to get onto the other side. So it did survive against the AdMech. So yeah, they did about half of its damage. 9 damage in total to it, so not bad for the first grouping. They didn't manage to kill it, but they did screw it up, so. Alright, we'll go figure out who's gonna go next, and we'll reset. Okay, the rogal dorn is back here at the starting line. And the eldar clamored very loudly for an attempt this time, so. Have some dire avengers up here at the front on the 3rd floor. The other ones are kind of catty corner, also on the 3rd floor. Our painted Wraith Lord, and then our unpainted Wraith Lord. That is a star cannon, by the way. I did check. Alright, rogal dorn will do his movement, and then he's gonna get shot at. Good times indeed. Alright, so he chose to advance this time and made it really far, actually, so yeah, already about a third of the way there. But now it's time to get shot at, so we'll see what the eldar can do. Well, for their first time ever in a gauntlet, I'm not going to say they did terribly, but they didn't do great. They did manage to do 1 point of damage to the dorn, so yeah, it's not bad. But it is their turn to get shot back at, so I wish them good luck with their saving rolls. So the rogal dorn just moved forward its regular 10. Managed to kill off one of these dire avengers up here with the castigator gatling cannon. The multi-melta did some damage to this guy. And then 9 damage to this Wraith Lord with the twin battle cannon. Not bad. Fortunately, I guess. However you want to look at it, it is the Eldar turn to continue pummeling this guy. So the two Wraith Lords between them got 6 damage on this guy. He's still in the first bracket, so he's doing pretty good. The Dire Avengers haven't been able to do anything at all. Sad day for them. Alright, rogal dorn gets to move a little bit further down the path. Alright, so the tank rolled forward further, killed off the severely wounded Wraith Lord with the Gatling cannon, and wounded this one a little bit more with the multi-melta. Alright, this is pretty much the last chance that the Eldar have to stop this guy, so let's see if they can do something with their last turn. And the Eldar failed completely to even wound him. He advanced forward on his turn and made it to the end of the street. Alright, so the Eldar did 7 damage to him this time, so not as good as the Admech. Maybe better than someone else, I guess we'll see. Alright, rogal dorn 2, everyone else 0. I'll reset and we'll do this again. Alright, the orcs have watched the last 2 attempts and they've been talking mad shit, so I'm willing to give them the chance to go. So the Death Dread is here on the ground, pretty much in the middle of the board. The Met Gun up here on the 3rd floor, kind of also in the middle of the board. The big shooter squad of boys down there on the ground. And the rocket launcher group of boys here up here on the ass end, I guess, of this little row of buildings. I gotta say that both of the knobs were talking mad crazy, so we'll see if they can back up their talk. Start with this guy starting his stroll. So the rogal dorn got a semi-decent advance roll. Kind of close to 1/4 of the way there, maybe a little bit more. Now we can pop the orc ambush and see if they shoot as well as they talk. Spoiler, they probably don't. So a ridiculous amount of devastating orc firepower was sent towards the rogal dorn. And unfortunately for all of the orcs, it saved on every wound. Granted, there weren't that many of them, but I mean, it did manage to save on all of them. So, yeah, that makes it the rogal dorn's turn. This kind of feels like the first time the Imperial Guard fought the orcs first. Good memories back from that game. Alright, so the rogal dorn has moved up to the halfway point on the board here. Managed to kill off the Death Dread with the twin battle cannon and the melta. Killed off 2 of these boys with the castigator Gatling cannon. And almost killed off the mech gun with the multi-melta. So it's doing a good job right now. So we'll do some orc shooting. Well, neither of the groups of boys managed to even hit it, and it saved against the bubble checker. Alright, more movement and shooting from the rogal dorn. He managed to kill off the mech gun with the multi-meltas. And then the castigator Gatling cannon and the twin battle cannon killed 3 of the boys over here in the alleyway. So this will be the orcs' last chance to wound this guy. I think it's probably impossible for them to do the 17 points of damage needed to kill it. But I'm going to give them the chance to give it a wound. So we'll see if they can do that. Come on, orcs, you guys were complaining so much about how much awesome you were. Let's see if you can do something. Please. So it seems that all they really needed was some good motivation, so I should just talk shit to them more often before a shooting phase. They did actually do 5 damage to it. It did escape, but they did manage to wound it at the ass end by the boys. The Depth Dread's never gonna live that down. Alright. Well, I'll reset and we'll do this yet again. Alright, so the Imperial Guard have decided that they want to take their shot at taking out this piece of ginormous armor. Got one squad of shock troops up in this building, very close. The heavy weapons squad, top floor of this building. The other shock troop squad down there on the ground, sort of by the end. And then the field ordnance battery, kind of at the break here in the middle. And the current winner so far, 3-0 for this game. And the rogal dorn. Alright, well, I'll go ahead and start with this guy and moving. Well, he'll probably advance. Advancing his way down the road so that he can get shot at. Alright, so the rogal dorn made it 14 inches on the advance, so yeah, it's pretty decent for the first roll out there. So that'll make it the other Imperial Guard's turn to start shooting at this guy. So yeah, ambushers shooting. So I feel like I've experienced this recently, like in this game, all of the ambushers shot and nobody managed to wound anything. So now the Dorn's gonna move forward again and retaliate. Alright, so the rogal dorn is doing a good job here. Moved forward just 10 inches. Killed 2 of these guys off with a Gatling cannon. Killed off the autocannon. With a multi-melta. And then with the melta and the twin battle cannon, killed off the Malleus rocket launcher ordnance battery. Doing a good job here. Alright, so back to the ambushers and their shooting. Occasionally, mid-game, these guys start to do well. So the heavy las cannon and the las cannon in there managed to do 10 points of damage to this guy between them. So now he's a hurting tank. It is his turn. Okay, the wounded rogal dorn moved forward 8 inches. And then definitely unleashed pretty much all of its fury into the ordnance battery that used to be there. Everything except for the twin battle cannon. It went into that and it finally managed to kill it. And then we killed off the mortar out of this heavy weapon squad with the twin battle cannon. Alright, well, this will probably be the ambusher's last chance to really stop this thing, so give them a chance to do their shooting. Well, the guard definitely gave it their all. This last cannon actually did 4 damage to the rogal dorn. It wasn't enough to kill it, but it came really, really close. And then on its last turn, the rogal dorn advanced and made it to the end of the street. So he did survive, but he took 14 damage doing it, so far the Imperial Guard are winning this game. Super ironic that the rogal dorn is basically 4-0, but The Imperial Guard themselves are almost, they almost took it out, so. Alright, so I'll reset for probably the Night Lords. I'm gonna have to roll some dice on that one. Alright, so the Night Lords lost the roll off, so they have to go next. So we've got the Havocs up here on this third floor, kind of toward the front. The Plasma Gun Squad here in the middle. The Autocannon Squad up here on the third floor of this last building. And then the two Obliterators up on the third floor of the middle building. Rogal dorn back where he started at. I go ahead and start with him, and he'll do his movement. First movement down the street. So even though he almost got destroyed last turn, the rogal dorn is just gonna do normal moves this entire game. No advancing at all. Just a regular sedate 10-inch happy little move. Kind of, smelling the flowers kind of speed. Alright, that'll make the Night Lord's turn to start pummeling away at this guy. Perhaps the sedate pace might have been a bad idea. The Obliterators did 4 damage to it. The Havocs did 6. So it took 10 damage in total. That was nice. It was kind of impressive to see what they could do to it. Now we get to see what it does to them. And I've noticed that when this thing goes down to the second bracket, it hits a lot better. No idea why. Alright, so the Heavy Stubber and the Castigator Gatling Cannon into the Havocs did 1 damage to the Havocs. And then everything else got dumped into the Obliterators, which resulted in 4 damage to them. So some of these guys are kind of wounded, but nobody's dead, and it's their turn. Well, if they can shoot as well as they did the first time, this guy might die for the first time. Ever. That's a whole lot riding on it, I guess. Let's see what they can do. Holy shit. A really, really long time ago, back when I was still filming games with my cell phone camera, I put a 5-minute video up called a Rude Ambush. And 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers destroyed my Chaos Knight Desecrator in like 3 turns. And that's kind of what happened here. The Obliterators and the Havocs pretty much destroyed this thing in about 2 or 3 turns. That was epically awesome. So the rogal dorn has finally been defeated. Ever. It's never been destroyed in any of the other games I've played it in, so it finally got destroyed in a gauntlet game by the Night Lords. The first ones to do it all game. Yay, Night Lords! Alright, so I'll reset it for the last group, the Necrons. And we'll see if they can duplicate the Night Lord success. Alright. Last faction up to do the thing. So we've got the Locust Heavy Destroyers up on this building here, kind of close to the middle. One group of warriors in the middle. So kind of opposite these Heavy Destroyers, we have the other group of warriors. And then the Doomstalker down there in that last alleyway. Alright. I don't remember where the phrase is from, but into the breach and all of that. The last go round. Rogal dorn's gonna move now. Okay, so that was probably the worst advance roll I think I've ever done with this guy. So he went 11 inches. Would have been just as easy to move to 10. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the chaos dice are getting tired. Oh well, too bad for them. That'll make it the Necron shooting phase. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that this is my absolute favorite phase in the world. I love Necron shooting. And that's why I love Necron shooting, actually. So I was super worried about the rogal dorn because it had gone undefeated and everything, and yeah, it had lasted really long. So that's why I was like, oh, if you want to double up on heavy support, sure, you can do that. So yeah, the Doomstalker did 11 points of damage. Yeah, and then the Locust Heavy Destroyers here did another 8. So it was dead, like almost immediately. So yeah, the Necrons and the Night Lords are the only 2 out of the 6 that killed it. The Necrons did it the fastest. I'm kind of stunned, actually. I mean, it was super amazing watching the Night Lords kill it, just because it was, they did it first, and I feel like it was kind of slightly a little bit of revenge for the Night Desecrator getting destroyed. But then these guys came along and just killed it on their first shot, pretty much. I hadn't even rolled for the Warriors yet. I just crazy shit. So yeah, the Necrons win also. Yay, Necrons! Holy God. Yeah, if you made it to the... Jesus. I can't even start that thing yet. I'm still trying to unpack that. Alright, so yeah. Necrons are definitely overpowered for shit. This guy. This guy did really well, like five attacks, actually hit with 3 of them. Wounded on 2 of them, and gave that d6 damage. Just, I love it when these guys actually do work out really well. It's nice. It's happy. I think that's actually it for my Titanic Lord of Wars ginormously wound-wise heavy support, so it might be a little while before I do another gauntlet video like this. I do have an idea for a melee gauntlet. Still trying to work that out in my head, and I'll probably have to do a few test runs to see if I can pull it off and make it filmable, I guess. Still trying to figure out how to make a battle chess game with 40k filmable. No, I talked about that before, but I'm still trying to figure that one out. If you guys have any ideas on how to make that work, let me know. If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it a whole lot. I look for other stuff like this out on the web, and it seems like I might be one of the few people out there doing things like this. So if you guys like this stuff or find it interesting or just wanted to watch it, I really appreciate it a lot. Alright, so we're gonna go back to regular games, probably a couple of open war games after this, I think. So yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. The Necrons are certainly going to.